me first.
Yeah.
We get these two new ones, we're just gonna have to drive one and then the other.
I think we should just put, no underneath the windshield wiper, and before you leave, you gotta put it on the other
I
ambulance.
think all they would be one month and one.
Oh, well, that would be,
One may not, I mean, yeah, I know, but. Especially when you get it. The 360 thing.
you know, those little, is that what you're talking about, those little cones?
Still think codes and things. I don't see it all the time.
I mean, I think that's the only way you
Where
could
did it go?
rotate every time. But then you have some people that are gonna get too excited and not see it. Do you remember that time that I screamed at him when we were going to that wreck and it was me and you in the back and I really thought we were gonna die and I told him to pull the F over and let me out.
All right, we're
And he
live.
finally slowed down.
So, all right. So, yeah, it says I'm live. I'm screen sharing. I think I'm live. If not, I guess I'm not. So, what we talked about so far, and I'm just going to do a recap here because we just thought to record this. I just got to make sure we are. I'd hate to do this. And,
Yeah, we don't listen to like.
we're screen sharing to everyone. Let's stop screen sharing. Okay. Okay, we're broadcasting. Okay, so we're live. All right, I'm gonna go back to screen share. Entire screen share. Here's everyone. Yeah, it just does. That's weird. It's like the mirror and a mirror thing. Okay, so what we gone over so far is what tonight's lesson about is respiratory. I guess the respiratory protocols, section 3 in the respiratory book. And we're going to talk about CPAP and different things like that. This class is geared more towards the basics to be more comfortable using the medications that they now can use, like albuterol, Atrovent. Some things that you could use the EpiPen on that maybe you haven't thought of, and CPAP just kind of in general. We already went over respiratory arrest in the patient, and that's pretty obvious. We're going to do entitled CO2, and we're going to bag this patient. If you want to, if you don't have a copy of this, you can pull up the state protocols and look at the 2014 protocols. Kim has them on the ambulance laptops, and I'm going to leave a couple copies of section 3 here at the ambulance barn for anybody that wants to, the lead EMTs that want to stop and pick it up. So 3A was pretty easy, just basically entitled CO2, baseline set of vitals, pulse oximetry, and bag your patient. We started talking about 3B, which is dyspnea of uncertain etiology. And I wanted to, I guess, drive home the point that you can use albuterol in almost any difficulty breathing patient that you come across. So we then moved to talk about albuterol in general, just the albuterol protocol, or the albuterol part in the back in our protocols that tells all about it, which is section 16 in your protocol book, and albuterol is under 16C. And we went over the contraindications just to show that, I guess how not benign, because it's not benign, but the very small amount of contraindications there are to try to relieve your ease your mind whenever you're thinking about giving albuterol treatment. So your contraindications are known hypersensitivity to albuterol, and then if you suspect the sole source of the difficulty breathing is from CHF. We talked about a few different things to differentiate CHF from other difficulty breathing. One of them is if the patient reports to you that lying down increased their difficulty breathing. That's a pretty good sign that it's caused from CHF. Ladena also mentioned that the history is an important factor, and we also talked about the pitting edema or in the feet, or the pitting pedal edema. So those are some things that you could kind of use to determine whether the cause of their respiratory distress is primarily from CHF. Not that it's an absolute contraindication. You're just not wanting to do it because you don't want to. Albuterol can increase the heart rate, and you don't want to put that extra. You don't want to tax the heart any more than you need to. So, if you're not sure, as you see in Protocol 3B, you can go ahead and try your albuterol. Albuterol is something that I feel like we don't use enough in the field, especially at the basic level. And so I'm just trying to help you guys become more comfortable with it. So now we're at 3B, and I think that's where we kind of left off before we decided that we probably need to record this for some of the EMTs that aren't here. So 3B in the protocol is dyspnea of uncertain etiology. Like I said before, this class is geared really mainly towards the basics because I want the basics to feel more comfortable with their new skill set that the state has given. The entire basics no longer is it just the advanced basic is what they're calling it for a long time, but it is all the basics. So obviously the same applies. You don't want to withhold oxygen. You want to go ahead and start your oxygen treatment, but then EMT or higher, you measure your end-tidal CO2 and waveform capnography. And then the next step is applied BiPAP, CPAP if indicated. And then adult and pediatric with the weight at greater than or equal to 15 kilograms, nebulized albuterol at 5 milligrams. Most of them come 2.5 and 5, so I'm guessing they're wanting you to mix two. So that's just kind of a weird dose to me. I don't know why the state has done that. Yeah, one ampule or one bullet. Put it in your nebulizer, and that's what you typically do. It's weird to me that they're saying 5. I don't know if you're going to want to pop open 2 bullets, or if you want to. I'm not sure if there's a 5 milligram bullet or not. I'm just familiar with 2.5 and 5. So look at your albuterol. If it says 2.5 milligrams and 5 cc's, go ahead and put 2.
Maybe that's for someone that makes it with the stuff. We didn't start this out. I have to mention.
I got you. Okay, yeah.
I didn't have.
And so you could actually adjust your concentration.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the pediatric less than 15 kilograms is nebulized 2.5 milligrams. That's just one of those bullets. So I'd say the easiest thing is I'll probably still continue to do it 1 bullet at a time, and it's just habit. So I don't think you're going to go wrong with that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
What you choosing?
Yeah, 2 of these. So there's 2.5 and 3. So
See, but that just takes longer.
in 3 mLs, so 3 cc's of fluid. But the milligrams is what whenever you're dealing with drugs, your milligrams is what you're really wanting to pay attention to, because you're going to do
an adult 5
Yeah, you're going to use 2 of these on an adult.
and a child 2.5.
Just one of these.
But it's just going to
Just
be the
use
same
these,
dosage,
just one
just last longer.
It's going to be the same concentration.
Right. Because it's taking longer to do it because it's got more.
Yeah, you're going to give twice as much medicine.
Right.
Because there's 2.5 milligrams in this bullet. You put 2 bullets in it because it's already pre-mixed.
Right.
You put 2 bullets in it, you're going to have 5 milligrams of the medication. So whenever you're dealing with the medication,
In 6 minutes.
yeah, it's going to be in 6 minutes.
And
And
where's the
So the concentration.
the age?
it's a weight. It's 15 kilograms. They're above 15 kilos, 30 pounds.
Okay. 30 pounds.
It's 1.
Yeah, under 30 pounds, it's 1.
And
It's,
over 32.
it's 31. I think 31 and a half pounds or something like that. But Yeah, above that 30, 31, 32 go to. I
See, Chloe is, Chloe's too, and she's.
I'm with Ladina. I'm gonna do one. If I give one, yeah, if I give one breathing treatment to even an adult patient, and their O2 sat comes up to 94, 95%, they report decreased difficulty breathing. I don't want to then turn around and increase their anxiety by giving them another albuterol treatment. That's something that you will see with albuterol. They could get jittery, heart rate can go up a little bit, and they become a little anxious. That's normal. So don't freak out if that happens. Just know that you probably don't need to give them anymore. The medicine's working. So
I
I'm
just
with.
wondered, since they gave it to basics, the Atrovent, if it's not to dilute the Atrovent more than it is to deal with the albuterol.
But still, and we'll
what I'm saying?
look at the Duoneb here in a second. I think the Duoneb, whenever you're doing Duoneb for the state, it's 1-in-1. It's 2-in-1. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know why you'd want to dilute the Atrovent with more. I'd say that you would do a bullet of normal saline.
I agree.
So
I mean, that's the only
You're
only
still-
logical way.
you're still getting the same amount, same milligram of medication. So I don't know.
But you see what I'm like? When we were talking about the other day, and I mean, that was the only
Thing you guys could come up with?
is that it would put 0.5 in more mils, like, because it would be 8 mils because it's 0.5 and 2 mils for the, so it'd be 8 mils with 0.5 instead of.
Stop playing with it because I'll hear that on the little. I don't know. That could be the reason. I'm not gonna say it's not because I don't know why they're doing that. We might find it here in a minute. So, anyway, that's unknown etiology. I might email the state and find out why they're doing 5 right off the bat and see. I mean, because I would think they would write the protocol if they're going to do that during a Duoneb 2-in-1, which I mean that's
If you give them a 1.5, it's better with it or you need to.
no, there's not, and I wouldn't, I'm going to tell you that Dr. Gore, most likely, if you give one, the patient gets better. And they said, you only gave 2.5 milligrams, why didn't you give 5? I think Dr. Gore's going to back you up and say, whenever you say, because they got better. And yeah, exactly. They're not, the state has never contacted me about a treatment that we've done. They've never said, hey, this doesn't follow your protocol or anything like that. Does that mean that we shouldn't follow our protocol? No, we need to. It's our protection. But I don't think they're in the
But
business
if you do less, it's not like they're going to say, hey.
Yeah.
It's only going to be somebody done. Yeah, and if you did more.
Yeah, yeah. You gave all 250 mics of fentanyl? What? In one fast push dose? So anyway, I want the basics to be comfortable giving the albuterol is I guess what I really want to get home. There might be something back here.
Well, now the only time you give only albuterol is uncertain etiology and smoke inhalation. Everything else you add.
Is Duoneb.
Yeah.
Let's see what their back one is. So dyspnea in the asthma, adult and pediatric,
No, it's 2.5 in
2.5 milligrams in 3 mLs.
and 3.
I know, I'll agree with you.
What's your argument? Go ahead.
Because if you're going to put 2.5 into 2.5, it's not any stronger dose.
It's not, yeah, you're right. It's not
The dose
stronger.
is going to be the same, it's just going to
It's-
be more of it.
Yes, it's going to be more medication.
Right.
It's still going to be the same concentration. But like what she's saying, if you add Atrovent to it, it's going to reduce the concentration of Atrovent because it's rather than 3 mLs, and I think it's 3 mLs, both, I think they both do 3 mLs. Now you're putting that 2.5 and mixing it in 6 mLs. You're right. It's not a stronger concentration on your albuterol. It's just more milligrams of albuterol. You're given more medication.
You're just giving it longer.
Yeah, it's not, it's just longer.
Yeah, and more. Your patient your end dose will be 5 milligrams versus 2.5 milligrams. So it will be more medication.
Well, the thing that we were saying is that Atrovent, you still not, basics not be able to have that. And so we're just saying that the 0.5 of Atrovent, you would get over a longer period of time because of so much more saline. Like that's still, I mean, that's the only,
What's the proper amount of oxygen you put through on this thing?
On your handheld, it's 6 liters on a T tube. On a mask, I would use 10. I would
You
use.
can get like 0 out oxygen. I mean, you've got an nebulizer.
Yeah, if you have, but
You have to have those, do you?
no, you have one of those nebulizers with concentrator on it that just blows.
Yeah.
You're right. You don't.
have to have those, do you?
But on the ambulance, you don't have any other way to deliver it. So
used to, I thought it was 15, like a long time ago before you got it.
did you blow the T tube apart?
They've never been told. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, we really, like, everybody got 15, like,
Yeah.
until you get out there and,
The only thing that I could see happening
or
when kids
12, maybe 12.
12 or 15. The only thing that I can see happening is that that medication is going to go through it faster, and so they're not going to get as much of it. Now, if you use a Nebi mask,
Well, I remember them being like a class, like,
Cheech and Chong
So
type thing.
basically, they were getting.
yes, like we were getting it.
So all right, so let's move on to asthma. I'm going to read through the asthma just because asthma to me is a scary thing it's a scary thing to treat. With asthma, I feel like you as a paramedic, if you could recognize it, or even a basic, if you could recognize it right away and start treatment, it helps out right away. It's scary though for the patient because they've had this asthma attack before, and a lot of these patients have been hospitalized before. So one thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that this asthma patient, even though they have a history of asthma, is actually having an asthma attack. If you guys ran on the asthma patient that you get there and they're 99% on room air, they're just breathing really fast, really scared. You should.
Afraid they're gonna have one.
Exactly. They're afraid. They might have, got a little short of breath for one reason or another, thought they're going to have an asthma attack and kind of freak out a little bit. But whenever you see that true asthma attack, you will know their O2 sat will be down in the mid to low 80s. They will be pursed lip breathing out. They're having a hard time breathing. A lot of times they're tired and weak by the time we get there.
They can breathe in, but they can't breathe out.
Yeah, it's very hard for them. It's very hard for them to breathe out. So that's why they're really pursed lips trying to breathe out. So recognize those things. Don't just say because they have a history of asthma that they are having an asthma attack. Obviously, we're going to listen to breath sounds. If they're clear, we have 99%, we need to start coaching them. And entitled CO2 will help you too. You can look at it, hey, you're doing okay. You need to slow your breathing down. Entitled CO2 is going to be well below 35. It might be high 20s, low 30s, but it's going to be below that 35 because they're hyperventilating. If you see all of those, try to coach them. But if you walk in and you see them pursed lip breathing, you see they're tired and they do have a history of asthma, know that you're probably dealing with an asthma attack. These patients could go south very quick. By the time that they've called you, they've already tried. Yeah, they've already tried everything. So you don't get that mild asthma attack. You get that full blown, shut down, absent breath sounds, or real tight wheezes, and you have to act. That's why I was asking Kim about the EpiPen. EpiPens are awesome for these patients, even as a paramedic. I know that we can give 0.3 sub-Q, and that works great too. But it takes time to get that out, draw that up, and then give it sub-Q. That EpiPen is usually on our bags anyway. Is that it's in the bag? It's at a very convenient place to grab it, and you just administer it in the thigh. Make sure you hold it there for 10 seconds after you hit them with it. And like I told you guys at the beginning of the night, the first time that I used an EpiPen, it's probably been 4 months ago now or so. I'm a huge fan of them. That'll be my go-to from now on asthma. So they get the relief then I don't have to work as fast. I'm still going to work fast, but it gets treatment on board right away.
So do they give severe asthma patients EpiPen now?
I don't know if they do or not. I'm not sure if they. I mean, it'd be a great thing to have. I know they give them, you know, the albuterol and stuff like this.
Or
Inhaler.
do they give EpiPen for people?
EpiPens are getting so expensive. I mean, but saves your life. Saves your life.
Well, yeah, that's the reason.
So like in anaphylaxis,
Uh-huh.
do you have to give the EpiPen again? Like I've never had it.
What do you mean again?
Well, like from here to Elk City,
You may have to. I would give one and see how they do.
I just didn't know
yeah.
how quick the symptoms would come back. Like, how long?
Those EpiPens actually last whenever you give that, because it's an IM, it's kind of going at a slower rate. It actually will last quite a while. But you guys have a 30-minute transport. Is that what you guys have? You want to keep an eye on them. Definitely your end-tidal CO2, your pulse oximetry. We have a trainer over there. I can see it. I'll show you guys in a second. Anyway, so I want to go through this asthma treatment because I want you guys to be at least aware or comfortable with some of the things. And that EpiPen was a big one for the basics. A lot of basics don't think of it because we've been drilled anaphylaxis. We never really thought EpiPen for an asthma attack. So general supportive care, obtain vital signs, O2 via nasal cannula, non-breather, bag valve mask is appropriate. Apply cardiac monitor if equipped. I'm gonna tell you my guilt here. If I walk in and I have the wheezes, listen to them, I have decreased breath sounds, I have all the signs I was telling you guys about. This other stuff usually comes just a little bit later. I want to try to get them really now. Should that be? No, you should always follow the protocol. But anyway, so assist patient with own albuterol inhaler. Good luck if they're in a severe asthma attack. EMT or higher, that was for your EMR. Measure end-tidal CO2, waveform capnography. You guys have it, so please measure it. Apply, this is something that just a few years ago was taboo. Apply BiPAP, CPAP if indicated. You can use CPAP on your asthma patients. Understand that. They've done lots and lots of studies on it, and it actually helps them. What you're doing is that pressure opens up the alveoli, keeps them open, it makes it easier for them to breathe. Now think if we couple that with our albuterol treatments, we're able to get that albuterol in, that really helps that patient out. Don't be scared to use the CPAP. And the one I'm going to show you, because this is the one I know how to use, for all indications except for CHF, you just turn it on the lowest setting and you don't ever move up from there. The only one you move up is CHF. But I think coupling that CPAP with an albuterol treatment, you're going to help that patient out tremendously. So then adult and pediatric patients, they talk about the nebulized albuterol at 5 milligrams. And then we were talking about this just a second ago, the ipratropium bromide or Atrovent at 0.5 milligrams. We are discussing why 5 milligrams of albuterol. At Jackson County, they came up with to dilute the Atrovent down to make the appropriate duo-neb dose. That could very well be. In this case, I would go ahead and do the 5 milligrams with the 0.5. So 2 bullets of albuterol, one bullet of Atrovent. Then you're a pediatric patient, less than 15 nebulized albuterol 2.5 and ipratropium bromide. So you're doing a half that dose. So it may be, is it 2 and 2? I'm not sure what the dose is on ipratropium bromide. So make sure you look at it because here it's saying 0.5. So if they come in a 0.25 bullet, you're doing 2 and 2, which yours are 0.5. So you're doing 2 and 1. So, right. And then the pediatric, you're doing half a bullet and 1 bullet, right? 1 bullet and half a bullet. Does that make sense to everybody when I say a bullet? One of those twist off things. So for severe asthma reaction, asthma refractory to nebulization, Adol epinephrine 1 to 1,000.3 milligrams or 0.3 ml auto injector intramuscular injection in thigh. Unfortunately, the only option we have right now is an EpiPen. I think they tried to come out with a generic off-brand or something. I know that the EpiPen now is generic, but the same company that made it has a generic on it. Jacqueline was explaining it to me. I thought it was weird. They tried to do another delivery system like it, and for some reason it didn't work, is not used. We can't get them. So that is one EpiPen. So pediatric, you're going to you use the pediatric EpiPen. Understand that on there it says online medical control order only for epinephrine if patient is equal to or above 50 years old, heart illness history, or blood pressure is above 140 over 90. Okay. Yeah, 50 years. If they're older than 50 years, and I don't know why they're saying it. If I was you guys, or maybe Kim can talk to Dr. Gore on that. 50's pretty young. You walk in a patient having a severe asthma attack. Just a sec, let me call the doctor. Would you like? I think you're wasting time. They have a
I think
history.
they're saying that if they have a history of the heart.
Okay, and
CHF,
is it?
or high blood pressure, then coupled with being over 50, then we call your doc.
We'll go with that. I like that
That's what it
better.
looks like.
Yeah, I like that better anyway.
I mean, because
So anyway, there's a couple things in the asthma. That's why I wanted to go over the whole thing. That at one you wouldn't have thought of basics using the EpiPen for an asthma attack or a severe asthma attack, and two, the CPAP for a patient with having an asthma attack. So it's a couple things that are kind of new, and I wanted to point those out just so you guys were aware of it. All right, we'll get moving here a little quicker. Yeah. You guys ever seen one?
I'm telling you, I would have liked to know why on the wall that day that I had to give one, and I've never seen a trainer. I never.
Anyway, thump.
Well, I was just trying like to read the thing, and like he's not breathing. Like holy crap!
They thump. They're spring loaded.
I don't remember that, but I was puckered. Like I was.
So the EpiPen, if you're going to give it in the thigh. I'll show it myself. Straight down into the thigh. Push until it pops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And at least I read it because I would not have known it for things.
Yeah. Make sure you hold it for 10 seconds. That's a big thing to do.
Yeah.
Another thing you don't want to do with any auto injector, you don't want to put your thumb on one end or the other.
She was in a hurry giving it to Deborah, who was having a bad attack.
And she shot herself in the thumb.
Yes, and then I go, we don't have a bed for you, so you're gonna have to sit down and calm down.
Yeah. So be aware of that.
It bent it. Like where it
Hit the bone.
bone, it bent it.
This was driven home to me whenever I worked in Wichita because we went through the duodope auto injector seminar, so organophosphate poisoning. They stick glasses on us, and we had so long to administer ourselves to auto injectors. So put the glasses on, they say go, come out, and you come down. The thing about it is when you can't see and you're in a hurry, you accidentally get turned around. If you stick your thumb on the end, you're going to hit yourself in the thumb, just like it. Obviously, it really happens.
It really does.
So whenever you grab an auto injector of any kind, do not put your thumb on either end. Just grasp it, come straight down, and push. If it doesn't go off, look at it, and you may have had it upside down. So yes, I'm glad there's a story of a real person hitting their thumb with an auto injector. So people are like, "Ah, it don't really happen, does it?" Yes, it does. So So anyway, yeah, if you're in a true organophosphate poison, so we're doing it for WMDs. We only carry those duodot injectors for ourselves. We had 3 of them. So you waste one, well, you might not have that other one, and now you're a victim. We also had organophosphate poison kits, which it's funny because like out here, it's like organophosphate poison. Oh, we'll treat it with atropine. It's like you don't even have enough atropine on the truck. We had a case of atropine, not the purple vials, but these are multi-dose, large vials, because you're going to have to give so much atropine to organophosphate to get that.
What's organophosphate?
It's like malathion or anything like that. So a lot of your pesticides are organophosphate.
Putting the
I mean,
weeds
I've been
in.
chemical, but I didn't.
Yeah, so all your lacrimation, salivation, all those great things, sludge, typically that's from an organophosphate. Did you ever, being around it, did you ever get to where you're like,
Taste it.
And did you not have to keep stuff with, I mean, like that?
We did.
I mean, you'd think people that were involved in use.
I mean, when we sprayed bugs and stuff, we used the wicked stuff. There, we didn't use parathon, but
yeah.
but I mean, up to that stage.
I had a code when I worked at CNA. We went out, some guys were cleaning out this area for Thanksgiving, and when we got there, it's out on this like almost like a riverbed, and there was like these glass jugs everywhere. So I thought they were cooking up meth or something. Oh yeah, right. You're down here cleaning up for Thanksgiving or whatever it was. Well, what it was, they really were. That's what they were really doing. But one of them was a guy that huffed all the time, and they found these jugs out there, and they were these old pesticides, and one of them was that malathion. And he huffed
That's how
it.
they got rid of stuff.
Yeah, and yes, they just dumped it out in Lansing. And it was he huffed it, and he was in cardiac arrest. And we coded him. By the time we got to the hospital, it was just so thick in the back of the ambulance. And then they actually evacuated the ER at Clinton there because of it.
And the mild stuff.
Yeah.
Really.
I'm glad it was
They
because
just took it off the shelf not just a few years ago.
I was gonna say, cause,
I mean, we used to everybody used to treat their name in.
yeah, you put a little bit in every, didn't wash your hands, you just took it, scooped it in there.
Yeah, they took that out, but they didn't.
I found a bottle of it when I bought a house in town, and I was in the cellar, and I found a bottle of it, a glass bottle of it, and
Oh, yeah, cause I'm not,
Don't-
didn't wash your hands or anything, so that is soaked into your skin.
don't huff it.
Really?
Yeah, you go into cardiac arrest and because we didn't know, I don't think we had enough atropine on our truck to reverse it.
Did he die?
Oh yeah, he died. That's the second time he was in cardiac arrest from huffing. The first time he was from brake cleaner. So yeah, he was a unique individual, that's for sure.
Dr. Ross this morning, for one of those, the people that are drinking purple rain or something, purple. Did you not see this?
No, I don't watch Dr. Oz.
You don't? Well, it might not be Dr. Ross, who was it?
What's person
What
right?
comes on, something that kids are drinking, it's like airplane, fuel.
Jerry?
Why?
Uh,
People have better things to do with their lives than sit around and think about
The
something.
reason I
to
can't
kill
remember
themselves
is
with.
'cause I worked, but the TV's on, and so I was listening, so I really can't tell you who the, it had to be, because there's no, for the rest of them is talk show. They were talking to the parents about knowing whether they would.
oh, did he die?
So 16-0 was our epinephrine. Since we talked about the asthma attack, and Kim, we could go further if you wanted to read into that more. I actually gave Benadryl for mine, and you don't need to give Benadryl. It is the correct treatment is your corticosteroid, your epinephrine, but there's no need for Benadryl. That was my not cross-referencing mistake there. One time, long time ago, I could swear that we had Benadryl in a protocol, probably in Wichita. Kansas is weird. But not sure.
I thought it used to be in, that's
It
what
was
we
in
taught in
something.
school. That's
It
what we
was
learned
it?
in school, yeah.
Okay. Where you give Benadryl for,
Yes,
okay.
and no epi. I mean, epi one, like, not EpiPen because they didn't give that.
Yeah, they do sub-Q
Yeah.
epi. Basics never didn't give up.
Yeah.
I know.
So the auto-injector, the indications are dyspnea, asthma. The rest of them are acute allergic reaction, snake bites with anaphylaxis, and then anaphylaxis, bee or wasp sting.
Will you give Benadryl for the
Anaphylaxis.
anaphylaxis?
Used to give.
Yes, for anaphylaxis, but not asthma, sorry. Notice your contraindications, none in indications above. All right, so if any of those reasons, if you're gonna give it for the acute asthma or severe asthma attack or anaphylaxis, you have no contraindications for your EpiPen, okay? Then the other one was that we've talked about was the ipratropium bromide, or also known as Atrovent. As you'll see, you use an asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, acute allergic reactions, bee wasps and bee stings. And as Lindsay said, you do the combo and everything except
Unknown etiology.
Yeah, you don't use it in-
Smoke inhalation.
smoke inhalation and unknown etiology. Thank you. I was trying to compare them. So everything, every other reason that we have that we're given albuterol for, we're going to do a duoneb. So
Not on smoke inhalation.
not on smoke inhalation. You'll use just the albuterol on smoke inhalation. You will not use the Atrovent. You want to do the duoneb.
Now, that could be something we can use.
It's
Yep.
now.
Yeah, there we go. So Brian's question was, Atrovent is something that the basics could use. Yes, Atrovent is something that basics can use.
So why
That
should we go ahead and progress? Why should we take our class? We'll be here.
So when we talk about duoneb, what we've discovered tonight is that for the duoneb, the correct dose for an adult is 2 to 2.5 bullets. So you're gonna do 5 milligrams of Atrovent and albuterol and one of the Atrovent. So 0.5 of Atrovent. Pediatrics under 15 kilos or roughly 30 pounds, we're going to do 2.5 of the albuterol and 0.25 of the Atrovent. So you're cutting that Atrovent in half, right? If you're on scene, you're like, I don't freaking remember, bust it open your protocols and look. So there might be a good idea to put the drug protocols on the shelf or something like that, but it's up to you guys.
Yeah, like on the window.
Do you guys have a cabinet? I wonder if you could just print them off, put a little punch hole with a little ring thing and throw them up there at the drug kit or something. I think I'm gonna do something. Yeah, I'm gonna do something like that there because it's easier to look at these than it is to go through the protocol, especially when you're gonna do. Well, okay, I have a
Where does it say that at?
COPD patient.
Seriously, I mean,
I know.
because you just have to be on a piece of paper.
Well, and we could have a ring of basic ones. And a
Do-
ring, you know what I'm saying?
Do whatever you want to do.
No, I'm just saying like laminate them and put them in there. I mean,
I went right there on the door. So you can see it, there's no use looking for it, or get that card together.
This
So-
Atrovent is now, it just came out.
We don't have
That's
it.
in that in there.
Yeah, this is a petroleum bromide. So here's your guys' Atrovent.
Is that what that is?
Yep.
0.5.
0.5, and you got, this is a whole bunch of them right here. You want to try to keep them out of the light. That's why they're in these foil packs. So if you take them out, make sure you put them in something that, like your cabinet or whatever is fine. But you do have 0.5 milligram bullets. So it's 0.5 and it looks like 1 ml. 5 milligrams. No,
I think there were two that I could do.
it's 2.5 ml. So it's 0.5 milligrams and 2.5 ml.
So
You mix them together and it's called a duoneb.
Go ahead with your question.
it's called,
And you will feel better.
I mean, this is, I'm kind of lost here. Is it, like you're talking about, if they're having trouble like the asthma?
Yeah. So
And
Brian is confused when to use it. When to use just the albuterol, which you're comfortable with, right?
yeah.
Brian says he's comfortable with albuterol, and everybody's going to be a little different. Versus when am I going to do a duoneb? You're going to do a duoneb on every patient as a basic. You're going to do it on every patient, the duoneb, except for, oh, got the epinephrine one again, sorry.
With breathing difficulty.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Well, every difficulty breathing patient that has dyspnea from asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, acute allergic reaction, or acute allergic reaction. All those patients you're going to do a duoneb on. You're not even going to do an albuterol treatment. You're going to mix it. If you're in the back of the truck and you don't remember, that's why we're talking about getting this. You can look on your protocol. It's really easy to see indications right there, and it tells you which ones you're going to use it on. So you're like, oh, okay, I don't have this, but I do have smoke inhalation. I'm just going to use an albuterol treatment. Does that help out, Brian?
That's the only one that you're only, is smoke inhalation.
Smoke inhalation and uncertain etiology. If you don't know, and you can always use that excuse, Brian. I'm not sure what it is. I'm just going to give albuterol. You can do what you need to do to make things right.
To be
But-
doing something.
But if that wasn't working, you could open it and put some
Yeah, definitely.
treatment in it.
I for a long time, if I walked in and somebody's sucking on an albuterol treatment, I wouldn't start with albuterol, even though my protocol said. I would justify by saying that they were doing a good nebulizer treatment when I walked in, and then I would do a duoneb right off the bat. Atrovent works awesome on your COPD patients. I don't know if it's because they've become kind of.
So you never use it by itself. It's always with the.
There's nothing on here that you would use it by yourself.
So we're gonna. I'm just thinking, well,
Okay, no, go ahead, Brian.
We're gonna mix, they mix
Yeah.
the albuterol with the.
Yeah, okay, so the question is how do I give these two medications? We're saying duoneb. Brian's like, what the heck's a duoneb? All it is, Brian, is you open up the nebulizer, so you know the thing that unscrews, or Sabrina Thomas showed me a sweet trick. You don't even unscrew them, you just squirt them right in the top. But anyway, you just put them both in that nebulizer at the same time.
Or you use the 5 and 1?
Yep, you use 2 of the albuterol, so you squeeze it in, squeeze the other one in, and then 1 of the Atrovent and squeeze it in. I give them a little shake, put it on, turn your oxygen on, put your mask on, and you're good to go. That help? That answer your question? Sorry about that, Brian. I didn't catch what you're. So.
Well, because he was thinking, you don't have to do this, you didn't have to know.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it went by.
Well,
You're gonna do that albuterol.
and not very many medications do you mix together to give. That's actually a no-no on a lot of medications.
Yeah,
So
that's the reason I was thinking
It didn't have to
it
be.
was going this route.
So, all right. So we've talked about those. I just wanted, I printed off a whole bunch more than I needed to because I wanted to give you guys this whole thing. So the COPD patient, we already kind of talked about them with everything. Usually they have a history of it. The emphysema, or they'll tell you emphysema or COPD. Something that is kind of new is if we look at EMT or higher, once again, we see BiPAP, CPAP reappear. That's what I'm trying to say is that it is used on it could be used on almost every one of your respiratory distress patients. So COPD, this is where, and the next one we'll talk about is CHF. Well, back whenever I started, it was Lasix, morphine, nitro for your CHF patients. So we were dilating them out, we're pulling all this fluid off, and we're killing them. Because what we're doing is they're already dehydrated, even though they're full of this fluid, and we're dehydrating them even further. CHF, congestive heart failure. If you have a patient that is experiencing CHF, you will fix them. You will make them better within minutes of putting them on. Kim, have you done given dextrose your patients an insulin shock out here? Okay, so basically whenever you give dextrose to a patient that's an insulin shock that unresponsive, It's almost an immediate change in their mentation. They come awake, they know where they're at, they're good to
Oh,
go.
yes.
Okay, okay, yeah. CPAP for CHF works the same way. I've gone into hospitals that they hadn't jumped onto the CPAP train yet. They have a patient, they're telling the patient that we're going to intubate them. And I was asking, have you tried CPAP yet? Well, no, they're not going to do CPAP. And I just asked the patient, we're getting ready to put you down and intubate you because you were not breathing very well at all. Do you mind if we try this mask before we do that? And usually by that point in time, they're going to be cooperative with it because nobody wants to be put down and intubated. If that is their two options, they're usually going to get over that little bit of fear of that mask being on their face, and they're going to accept the mask. We put it on her, and before we were leaving the hospital, she was able to talk through the mask, of course, because it's always a little bit of a challenge for them to talk, but she was talking in complete sentences. Whereas before, she couldn't even really talk besides a small breath. And we're leaving the hospital, complete sentences, sitting up, give a thumbs up to the hospital staff, and that's how fast it works. It's amazing. So I think it's great, but it's up to you guys. So anyway, for paramedics, I don't even think the state's doing, they're still doing nitro, but I don't think they're doing Lasix anymore.
No.
So then you're going to start treating your blood pressures if you drop bottom their blood pressure out with norepinephrine or dopamine, which so those were the main ones I wanted to go over tonight. I was going to show you guys some other cool things, and that's why I printed all these that are in here. Which
No, Jamie took it away.
what'd you take away?
Nitro for basics.
Yeah, you guys shouldn't be. You can assist them with theirs at the basic level, but not give it.
Before the new protocols came out, as basics, we could get nitro. I'm not lying.
Yeah, if you could, you.
Yes, we had,
I mean, a patient assisted with their.
Yeah.
before that, we had spray nitro, and we gave nitro as basics.
Okay. I'm not arguing.
I was, yeah, like after I went to paramedic school, I thought it was crazy, but.
So this is kind of a reason we talked about waveform capnography last time I was here. And I told you guys that there's different pleth waves whenever you're looking at it. And I didn't realize the state actually have a lot of these pleth waves and what they mean in the protocol book. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's why I printed out such a big packet for you guys, because I wanted you guys to see these different pleth waves and what you could be looking at whenever you're looking at them. There's some other ones that they don't put in here. Their asthma is a little different than what I remember asthma being. I remember it not being such a hill. It looks like a hill there, but more of kind of a shark fin. So I'll have to do some research on that, but they're showing it as more of a hill. So,
Where is it?
on page 3H3, sustained low entitled CO2 without alveolar plateau. Oh wait, no, bronchospasm.
The very bottom.
No, it's COP. Why did I think that was asthma?
It says asthma or COPD.
Okay. Oh yeah, of asthma or COPD exacerbation. So is that you can see in those pleth waves, and it's pretty cool. The state put it in there so you guys can see it. One of the nice things, if you guys do ever do like we're talking about the oxygen-driven ventilator, just in case you're in a code out here. If all of a sudden you see a little hump in the middle of your thing, you know that patient's trying to take a breath on their own. Whenever I was flying, that's when it was time to start giving them more medicine. So because they're starting to try to breathe on their own, they're coming around, and we don't want that. So, there's also what I was telling you guys about with the oxygen administration. If you look at 3I, this goes through all levels, and so we're talking about where is it? That's 3I. So you are trying to maintain between somewhere I read today, 94 to 98%. let's see. Yeah, EMS administration O2 should be a goal. So EMS administration of O2 should be goal directed to achieve oxygen saturation levels based on pulse oximetry with a target level 94 to 98% in most patients, or 88 to 92 in COPD patients. So the days are gone where we walked in and we seen this 89% O2 saturation, and you're like, "Are you having trouble breathing?" They're like, "No," and they have a history of COPD. We're throwing them an oxygen. We didn't know. Oh my gosh, 89%, that's terrible. It's normal for these people. So those days are long gone, and I'm glad that they going through this. I'm glad they're doing it for basics as well. So you guys have a little bit more leeway. You don't have to just be that person that walks in and slaps them on 15 liters because. And actually, when you start to read about oxygen, it's really not that great of a thing to do that to the patient. You actually, whenever you're dealing with a cardiac arrest, they're looking at doing with the bag valve mask, no supplemental oxygen, because you could have re-entry injuries. So when the heart starts beating again, it has all that oxygen. You could actually cause an injury, more injury to the heart. So, so it's pretty interesting. I'm glad that and I've been looking for it and I haven't found it until I printed these off today. And I was like, hey, there it is. They're allowing all levels to, make a decision on oxygen administration, which I'm really glad they're doing. So anyway, and I also printed out the Narcan one for you guys since we went over that Narcan. Did you guys ever send off your letter to adopt it?
Yeah, we did.
I need to do that. I forgot.
Yeah.
So next thing I want to do is I want to play this video. I forgot to bring my CPAP, or this is the exact one we use. Basically, all this does, it hooks up just like a non-rebreather mask. It operates just like a non-rebreather mask. It has a little yellow tag that tells you what level you should turn it at. And it's very simple. Whenever I was looking at CPAP, I had to think of a few things. One, the people that I had that were going to be giving. Yes, Lindsay and I are talking about the actual ventilator type CPAPs. Yes, they are great for people who are in the arena that they keep those skills sharp and are using them. But I have a lot of basics that are scared of the whole word CPAP anyway. And so I had to think about that. And whenever I was doing research, I came up with this product. It actually has a very low oxygen consumption. We're looking at 30 minutes on your small portable bottles. So you're looking at a long time on your larger cylinder. So you guys will have plenty of oxygen as long as you have, your 1,000 in it or whatever to make it from here to Oak City. And like I said, it's very easy to use. And now they have an inline nebulizer. So if you're going to do a nebulizer treatment, this is a good way to go. Downside to this is you're looking at about $60 a pop whenever you use it. So I wouldn't use it just on every patient that's getting an albuterol treatment, but it's an option you have. You have that patient that's really struggling, you could use this. So anyway, I'll play this video for you guys. This guy's a little cheesy, but the video's pretty good.
CPAP is becoming the standard of care when it comes to taking care of our patients with CHF. But now we're starting to see CPAP being used on asthma as well as COPD patients. So as a paramedic, now I got to think about one O2 source for the nebulizer, but another O2 source for CPAP. But wouldn't it be great if there was one product that allowed me to use one O2 source for the nebulizer and the CPAP? Well, I'm going to show you that product today. I'm Chris Cebollero, and this is the Innovation Zone. In a past episode of the Innovation Zone, we had the opportunity to take a look at the FlowSafe 2 mask from Mercury Medical. It was a disposable CPAP mask and very, very innovative for its time. But now more agencies are starting to use CPAP for the treatment of asthma and COPD as well. And some of the things that we're utilizing with those protocols is nebulized aerosol with that CPAP mask. But think about the challenges that we have with that. If we have a CPAP hooked up, we need an oxygen source. Now, if we use a nebulizer, we need a second oxygen source. So always the innovators at Mercury Medical, they've decided to come out with a new product called the FlowSafe 2EZ, which is going to give us the tools necessary to treat these asthma and COPD patients. Well, let me show you some of the advantages of the FlowSafe 2 EZ. Well, first off, the thing to know is it uses 50% less oxygen consumption. And think about that. We're on those long distance transports. If we can use less oxygen, how great is that? But secondly, what's really innovative about this product is it uses one O2 source. Again, if we have an O2 source for the CPAP machine and we needed one for the nebulizer, that's two sources. But now we have the opportunity to use it in just one. And I want to show you some of these characteristics. First off, it has a manometer. The manometer is always great because it takes the guesswork out of where is the pressure on the CPAP mask. So think about it. Without the manometer, we have to guess, and hopefully we're delivering the right CPAP pressure. 12 to 14 liters per minute hopefully will give us 8.5 to 10 centimeters of water pressure of delivering CPAP. So one of the things I want to show you is it comes with a standard continuous nebulizer. The nebulizer just hooks in as it always does. But what's really great is now we have an on-off switch. So one of the things that we need to think about is if we need to place more medication in the cup, we can go ahead and turn the green valve off. We can take the cup off, go ahead and put the medication in, install it again, and then turn the medication back on. You know, as a paramedic, I got to tell you that I really love this device. Anything that makes our jobs easier, as well as gives the patient a better benefit, is really a great product. So one of the things I want to do is I want to show you some of the highlights of the FlowSafe 2 EZ mask. You know, one of the things that I really like about it is it has this little swivel arm which allows the works to move. And that's really great. When you have all that weight there, if it moves with the patient, it really gives them a lot more comfort. I really love the forehead pads. It rests on the forehead, which really makes it more comfortable for the patient. One of the great things about it is you have the opportunity to go ahead and adjust it, which takes the pressure off the nose. And again, it's a very, very lightweight mask, but still gives us the opportunity to kind of make it even more comfortable for the patient. This great harness allows it to be as comfortable as possible around the individual patient. And then it also has these Velcro straps, which will allow you to kind of put it around their head a lot easier. One of the things that I really like about this is the quick release clips. That gives us the opportunity to get under the mask if we need to without having to remove the whole mask. You know, we talk about the mask, and it does allow us to have a really great seal, an anatomically correct seal, which doesn't allow that blow by. And you think about the trepidation of these patients in CHF, in asthma, you don't need to have all that wind coming past their face. I really love this product. As an ALS provider, it gives me the opportunity to go into the home with one O2 source, deliver aerosol medications and CPAP, and not have to worry about multiple bottles of oxygen. The FlowSafe 2 EZ from Mercury Medical. This is innovative, it's lightweight, it's easy to use, it's comfortable for the patient. You know, CPAP is becoming the standard of care, and the advantages of the FlowSafe 2 EZ from Mercury Medical makes my job as a paramedic easier to take care of those patients. I'm Chris Savallaro, and thank you for joining us on the Innovation Zone.
Obviously, he was pumping the product a little bit, but I agree with almost everything he said. So, using it, I've been really pleased with it, and Vera uses it.
Disposable mask.
Disposable mask, yep. Use it, throw away. Like I said, the only downside you're looking at $60, but I think event circuit on like the one area back's running. I think you're looking at $30 anyway, and that's just all that is the vent circuit. And there you have the mask, the nebulizer. It's all put together too, so you're not assembling it. The only thing you'd have to do is screw that nebulizer thing in. So that's another good thing. It's not something that you're trying to put together or anything like that.
And so the pressure is completely determined with how much oxygen you're putting in.
How many liters of oxygen that you're going. So the beginning setting used to be at 15. They used to go up to 25. So we bought new regulators for our ambulance for it. New ones, these FlowSafe 2s, start at 10 and go up to 15. So you don't even need a new regulator for it. They work on your regular Christmas tree regulator. For your asthma, your COPD patients, you just put it on the 10, and that's as high as you go. If they don't get better, you go ahead and take it off. On your CHF patients, you'll go ahead and you go up to the 15 liters. You just increase it. Then whenever you document, you look at the little tag will tell you what your each setting is and how many millimeters of water it should be. And you can look at that with teeth and all that good stuff. And you look at that, and that's how you document.
On that yellow tag.
Yep, yellow tag. It's on all of them. And not something that'll just fall off either. It's on there. It's water resistant. I don't even know if you get it off there if you really try. I like them. I meant to bring one over. I'll try to remember. If you guys stop by, I'll give you one for you to look at it. If you're ever in Cheyenne. If not, I'll try to remember to bring it over. For my needs, it was the best product. They have the other ones that you change out the little dial thing. Then I don't know if you've seen that. It's not the one that you guys have, but it's another oxygen-driven one. But you have to change out a little. And I thought that was too much moving parts, I guess, for my people. And I think you have to buy each one of those little dial things. Everything does, yeah. Anyway, that is that. We'll go ahead and I wanted to bring up some breath sounds for you guys. I just pulled up. Oh, yeah, shut down my YouTube videos. No, I have a mannequin over at Cheyenne. I brought him over whenever I did your basic class, correct? Man, I wanted to bring him today, but like, hi, that thing weighs like 150 pounds. You know what I need to get? I just need to get they make a little breath sound thing where you put your stethoscope on and you put it on a speaker to listen to. That's what I need to do. But, here's some breath sounds. I haven't watched this video, but it says breath sound stages of fluid overload and pneumonia. So I don't know if they're going to give you differentiating sounds between the two. And that's something that I've always had a problem with. So what I've used is if they have wet breath sounds and they're running a fever and they don't have any other signs of CHF, I treat it as pneumonia. If they have wet breath sounds, they have the pedal edema, or they complain of I treat it like CHF. I know that's not 100% correct, but that's, I was going to see if this video gives us a differentiation.
With the stages of it, it'll start here when it first start. When they first start getting overloaded with fluid, you'll hear early inspiratory crackles. When they breathe in, right at the beginning, you'll hear just a little bit. And the first of inspiration. Then, as it progresses, you'll hear more. And then it'll go all the way up through inspiration.
Guess we're going to have to let you guys hear the actual crackle.
Okay. So that way, when they're breathing in, it'll go all that way. But exhalation will be clear. And then it'll start progressing over toward expiration. So that's how it progresses. But then in inspiration, it starts filling up down at the bottom, so you won't hear that. It'll be quiet. Then it starts progressing more and more. And then all of a sudden, the whole inspiration is absent.
Okay, we'll go to a different one. We see what he's saying there, right?
Expiration. Because all this is clear now. It's solid. Because now they're in trouble. They're telling you they're short of breath, but you don't believe them. You're saying, oh, man, maybe he needs a breathing treatment. And then it starts disappearing on the expiratory side. And more, till sooner or later. And then all of a sudden, when there's finally nothing but just the bronchial breath sounds, they're in the very last stages. Now, if you're just not sure, you're hearing that and you're just not sure, there's a way to verify it. And it's called bronchophony. What you can do is, if you listen to somebody talk while you're listening to their lungs, it should sound like Charlie Brown's teacher. You know how she sounds? She's wah, wah, wah. Well, if you listen to them if you have them talk while you're listening to their lungs, if you can hear it, that means there's something solid. Huh. So what I have them do is I have them count to 10 real slow. And I'll listen to each different part. So I'll have them count, they'll go 1, I'll have them count out loud. well, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if it goes wah, 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 I know they're clear because I can't hear it. It's hollow. But if I can hear 1, 2, wah, 4, 5, wah, I know they're full of fluid all the way up to here.
That's interesting. I'm glad I didn't stop it because that's,
Right. I can hear these first two down here,
Which makes sense.
and you can pinpoint to what intercostal level. You can say they are full of fluid at this intercostal level. And they are screwed. They're in trouble. You can pinpoint that. And then you can, and it's, if you can hear them talk, it's positive on coffee. Now, the same for if they have a pleural effusion. If you're worried about that, you hear they say, I have pain in this part right here, and this, make it pinpointed almost. It might be a pleural effusion, but if it's that, what you can do is you can put your stethoscope over it and have them say, and if you hear on your stethoscope, then there's pleural effusion. But so that's how to rule that out. So if you hear somebody complains of pain there, then it could be a couple different things. It may just be sore muscles from a pneumonia, but if you have them do that, then you can tell.
that was interesting.
And if it's at least 75 cc's, it'll make up.
Okay, I wanted breath sounds though. I'm glad we watched that, but I wanted breath sounds.
What was that one? It said split over there.
Yeah, but everyone's still knows about that.
See,
I don't know where it came from, they just know that.
They just go wah, wah, wah.
They don't know where you got it.
I do know that I watched this today, so you guys can hear it. I'm gonna go to breath sounds like a pronounce. Okay, wheezes. That is a wheeze. And that's it. But you gotta be careful because they're gonna it's Strider.
Yeah.
But if you hear the deep, the wheeze. Something I was told is crackles in the backles, wheezes in the bronchi in the bronchi, and wheezes in the wheezes. It's kind of weird listening for these different sounds. Right? Crackles in the backles is your CHF. It's a I think we have. Yeah, crackle. Here comes your CHF. Yeah, nice, right? So anyway, those are just sounds. So is there any questions over the stuff? Anything you guys want to talk about? You guys want to get nebulizer out and make sure you hunt for it? Or? No?
Hope he looks at me.
What's that?
I know he's looking at me.
Is there anything else you guys want to go over tonight? Sit here and talk?
Wow.
Yeah. Big thing, if you take away tonight, is know that you can always turn to your protocols. Basics can treat breathing problems, so you can treat with albuterol, atropine, epinephrine or EpiPen. And another breathing problem would be ear overdoses, so you can treat with nasal Narcan. As long as Dr. Gore sent that in, you guys should be good to go. So,
It's not in there.
what's that?
We haven't put it in there yet because we haven't ever heard back
Oh,
from the state.
You know, I sent that application with all that stuff in, and I even emailed them again. Hey, did you receive all this? I don't know if they're backed up.
They
or-
must be backed up because we sent in for,
Do a recap of the
for vasopressin.
Oh, the Narcan?
Yeah.
Okay.
a real fast recap.
Narcan. What you're gonna do is, through a nasal atomizer, you're going to give 2 milligrams in each nostril. You can titrate it. But what you're looking for to get a Narcan, the main thing is that they are in respiratory distress or they're not breathing and unconscious. If they're breathing 10, 12 times a minute, maintaining an O2 stat, just because they're an opiate, which you can look at their pupils and see that their pupils will be pinpoint, I would just let them be. Don't wake that person up. If they're not breathing, though, do not withhold Narcan. You can titrate it, give it nice and slow, just until they start breathing. At that point, stop. Have you given Narcan before? They fight, almost every one of them.
So we're never gonna, these two never cross, you never give breathing difficulty patients.
No, yeah,
It's like one or the other.
yeah, we're looking at a complete different train of thought here. One of them is you go in there, a lot of times it's, you could, if you dig hard enough, you could find that either they have an addiction of some sort to pain medication, they're on a new pain medication, or if you look at their pupils and their pinpoint, it's a telltale sign. Now, if their pupils are uneven, they might have a head bleed. Be aware of that. But if they have pinpoint pupils, they're unresponsive, they're only breathing 3-4 times a minute, definitely try that. I mean, you're going to obviously start breathing for them, but try that nasal Narcan.
But even the ones that are not breathing, that do have pupils that are not, if you give Narcan, it's not gonna do anything to that patient.
Yeah, definitely. Narcan is, then this is the reason they're going over the counter with it. It's fairly benign. If you don't need it, it's not going to do anything. So, yeah, you're not going to, yeah, it's not going to be like if Kim gave them some Versed and they don't remember the whole trip. It's completely different. So, it's just blocking that opiate receptor so that if they did have an opiate on
That's
board.
pretty much how it's done.
Yep. That cleared
That's
up.
the over the counter, I mean, not over the counter, we got it, I mean, people can get this.
That cleared up for you.
I mean, we talked about it, but then we talked about.
Yeah, you know, and that's one thing about being out in rural EMS, and it's, you know, it's hard for me. You know, I went from real busy systems and services where I'm using this stuff every day, and you know, I'm on top of my game. You know, and then I come out here and slow down. I started flying, got it all back and everything. Well, you know, I haven't flown for 3 years now, and it's just. It's tough to maintain that. And I understand where
That's
you're
one
coming
thing about the little card, if you're just enough on that, it kind of goes, this is what, yes, and this is no, and this is what you do. And it's just enough, you don't have to.
from. Lindsay's idea of doing a little basic medication flip chart that
All of that information on this.
the basic flip chart will give you what its indications for, its when not to use it. And I mean, that's basically all you need. Hey, this patient's having trouble breathing. Hey, looky there, I can give this medication. And there's only like 5 medications that you guys could give.
Or
So
we could even put the doses on the wall and put,
well, you guys
and
have
we-
you have the wall you can write on, don't you? Oh, no.
Wait, I think
I think it
we
is.
can, no, we don't have it yet, we have,
I think it's a,
we're not finished.
Whenever you, have you already spec'd it out? You gotta see if they can do that. Eagle Med had one, and I'd never, and I forgot to do it online, I wanted to, but they had where they dry erase board on their walls, and they could write things down on there. Now they got mad because whenever AirWay would fly in, we'd write things like, you
I'd
know,
say, then we need something permanent, because then it would be.
But I mean, if you did little cards with like, this is our B-roll dose.
is there any,
This is atropine dose.
before we, is there any other questions over this stuff so I can shut down the recording? All right. So, thanks. Email me with any questions or text me. I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as I can. Thanks for listening.
Let's try to remember stuff, even though we're doing something else. I remember the 35 to 45 on the technology.